What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a very special edition of Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you never heard of. Today, it is all about WrestleMania week. I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure to head to the website, catchhookshoot.com, to listen to all the podcasts, watch all the videos, see all the interviews, photo gallery, and to pick yourself up a t-shirt or a hat in our CHS shop over there. Make sure you're following on social media at CatchHookShoot on all platforms. Head to patreon.com/CatchHookShoot for bonus content. The April content just went up, so head over there, check that out. Keep an eye on twitch.tv/CatchHookShoot. Give us a follow over there. I do watch parties over there every now and then just to have a little fun, interact, that kind of thing. And make sure you also check out the Pro Wrestling Tees store at prowrestlingtees.com/CatchHookShoot. And you can find links to all that and much more on Linktree/CatchHookShoot, or scan this little QR code right here in the corner of your screen if you're watching on YouTube. And if you ever want to send us an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So like I said, this very special bonus episode is all about WrestleMania week. We are previewing pretty much everything going on this upcoming week. It is truly the busiest week in professional wrestling. So let's kind of dive right in, start talking about the non-WWE stuff that's going on this week. Of course, with AEW, AEW's actually got 4 shows this week. They've got their regular shows, AEW Dark Elevation on Monday the 5th, AEW Dark on Tuesday the 6th, AEW Dynamite on Wednesday the 7th. The main event of that is Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers taking on Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks in a 6-man match. I'm watching this one very closely because I'm kind of wary of the Bucks. I don't know if they're 100% on Moxley's side. I think we may see a swerve coming from these guys, and they may turn on Moxley and go back with their Bullet Club brothers, Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. So I have to see how that one plays out. And then coming up on the 9th, AEW is having their first ever house show, non-televised event called The House Always Wins, and that they're going to be having a 12-man battle royal for the number 1 contender for the TNT Championship. The winner of that battle royal will get the title match that same night. I'm looking for 10 from the Dark Order to win this one, especially since Darby Allin has thrown out the challenge to the Dark Order for the TNT Championship, which was, of course, held by Brody Lee previously. So, I'm looking for 10 to get the win in the Battle Royal and then take on Darby Allin for the TNT Championship that night. And don't put it past AEW to have a non-televised title change. That's something that's very old school. I mean, if you go back to the days of the NWA and the territories and Jim Crockett Promotions, the majority of the title changes were not televised. They happened on house shows because you didn't have the monthly pay-per-view events back then or anything like that. You had a couple of pay-per-views a year, but the mentality back then, the whole purpose of your TV was to draw people to your house shows. So that's where the big stuff happened, the title changes and that kind of thing. So don't put it past AEW to go a little old school and have a title change on a non-televised event. I don't know. I'm not saying definitively it's going to happen, but don't put it past them. And then also Cody Rhodes taking on Aaron Solo on the show on the 9th, and this is stemming from the Nightmare Family splitting this past week on Dynamite. Then MLW, they are replaying an episode of their old TV show, MLW Underground. There is no new episode of Fusion this week. Impact has got their regular TV on April the 8th. This is going to be their move to Thursdays. And then they've got a special event on Impact Plus, Hard Justice. And so far, the matches we know that's going on for Hard Justice is Jazz taking on Deonna Purrazzo in a career versus title match for the Knockouts Championship. Jazz wins, she gets the title. If Deonna retains, then Jazz is done. She's retiring. So, this could be Jazz's last match. I mean, by all accounts, she's supposed to be retiring this year, so, that could be it for Jazz. And then we've got a number 1 contender 6-way weapons match for the Knockouts Championship, and I'm putting my money on Jordynne Grace for this one. I don't see them taking her out of the title picture anytime soon, and her and Deanna have had some great matches, but I think it would be very interesting if Jazz wins the championship and then Jordan wins this number one contenders match, because Jordan and Jazz have been tag partners. They've had a match, but I'd like to see them going at it again for a championship. Then you've got Ring of Honor, of course, has their weekly TV. Depending on where you watch it, depends what day it's on. NWA Powerrr on April the 6th, and so yeah, a lot of stuff going on outside of WWE, and even more so on the independent scene, which we'll get to that in a little bit with Charlie G with a special edition of the Indie Cut. But let's get into everything that WWE has got going on this week, starting off with Monday Night Raw on April the 5th. Lashley's going to be taking on Cedric Alexander. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure Lashley's going to win this one. I mean, it's not a title match or anything, but don't be surprised to see Drew McIntyre get involved in that match, possibly Baron Corbin, since he's been thrown into the mix with Lashley and McIntyre, kind of out of left field. But hey, we'll see what happens there. And it's going to be all building to WrestleMania. Raw is pretty much the kickoff of WrestleMania week, and so I'm sure we're going to see Alexa Bliss and The Fiend and Randy Orton and some more, build up for that match coming up. And then Asuka is teaming with Rhea Ripley to take on Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. So this is kind of an interesting matchup here because, of course, Asuka is defending the Raw Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. So not sure how this one is gonna go. I mean, we've seen this before. Obviously, they did the same thing with Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. Had them teaming up against Shayna and Nia. So now they're kind of replaying that same scenario with Asuka and Rhea Ripley. Then coming up on Tuesday, we've got the WWE Hall of Fame, and we are having the inductions for both the classes of 2020 and 2021. Now, for the class of 2020, the headliner was supposed to be Batista, but his induction has been postponed, basically until fans are able to attend. He said he wants to be inducted in front of the fans and everything. And on top of that, he's also filming in Australia for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So, Batista's induction is postponed. But the 2020 class that is being inducted, and this has been taped already, so but it's being broadcast on Tuesday the 6th. For the class of 2020, we've got JBL, the British Bulldog, Jushin Thunder Liger, which I think is pretty cool. The New World Order, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and X-Pac. The Bella Twins, which, the Bella Twins have caught a lot of hate online for being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I'm sorry, I'm not the biggest fan of the Bella Twins. Their characters, their and all that kind of thing, but you can't deny their longevity in WWE and just all the stuff that they were involved in. And a lot of people want to criticize their in-ring work, and I'm sorry, take a look at when they started to when they retired. There's no comparison. And like I say to anybody who criticizes any wrestlers in-ring work, go take a bump, then come back and talk to me. So, but so the Bella Twins going into the Hall of Fame. In the celebrity wing, we've got William Shatner, which I thought was a little odd, because I know William Shatner, he's made a couple appearances with WWE. He actually inducted Jerry Lawler into the Hall of Fame. I would assume Lawler's probably the one that's going to be inducting Shatner. It is what it is. Captain Kirk's going into the Hall of Fame. And then for the Warrior Award for 2020 is going to Titus O'Neil. A little bit of a surprise, but definitely deserved with all the work that Titus does with the community and with kids and all the charity work that he does. There's no denying that he has earned the honor of the Warrior Award. So congratulations to Titus O'Neil. I know a lot of people wanted the Warrior Award to go to Shad Gaspard, posthumously, of course. And I'm not sure why they're not doing a 2021 Warrior Award. They're only doing one Warrior Award this year, and it's for the 2020 class. So I'm sure if there was a second one for 2021, it probably would have gone to Shad, because I know wrestlers and fans alike have been pulling for that for quite a while. And then moving on to the 2021 class for the Hall of Fame, we've got Molly Holly, which well deserved and long overdue. Eric Bischoff, which I know a lot of people are very happy about. When the New World Order was announced to be going in for 2020, a lot of people were, asking, what about Bischoff? Why isn't Bischoff going in with the NWO? So Eric Bischoff definitely has earned his spot there. Then we've got Kane, which again, just his time in WWE and the number of high profile matches that he had, his rivalry with the Undertaker alone, I think merits a Hall of Fame induction for Kane. So definitely another one very well deserved. I've got the Great Khali going into the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure what to say about this one. I mean, there's been some Hall of Fame inductions over the years that have been questionable. I think this probably falls into that category. And I know, as far as I know, WWE has been trying to build their audience in India, and so I'm sure, Great Khali is probably the biggest Indian star that has been in WWE. He's been World Heavyweight Champion. He was, very dominant there for a short time in WWE. And I forgot to switch my little card there. There we go, Hall of Fame. But he was, very dominant after his debut. And for however brief the time was, but I'm not going to say he's undeserving. So Great Khali going into the Hall of Fame class of 2021. And what I would call the headliner for 2021 is Rob Van Dam, only the second ECW original to be going into the Hall of Fame. The first, of course, was the Dudley Boys, who went in as a tag team a few years ago. So Rob Van Dam going into the WWE Hall of Fame, and about damn time, pardon the pun. So that is the Hall of Fame. That's coming up on Tuesday, April the 6th. And then on Wednesday, we get night 1 of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Now, night 1 is being broadcast on the USA Network. And, so, I mean, both nights have got some killer matches lined up. On night 1, first of all, we've got the NXT Women's Championship, Io Shirai defending against Raquel Gonzalez. And they've done a damn good job building this rivalry up with them. I mean, these two were brawling basically the whole night last week on NXT. So I'm really looking forward to this match. I think it's going to be really good. But I think Raquel Gonzalez is going to come away with the title in this one. So that's my pick. And then we've got a triple threat tag team match to fill the vacant NXT Tag Team Championship. MSK taking on the Grizzled Young Veterans, taking on Legado del Fantasma. I got to go with my guys MSK on this one. They, as hot as they came in to NXT, winning the Dusty Cup and just kind of running roughshod over the tag team division, I got to go with MSK. Or WWE or NXT could go a different route and have the Grizzled Young Veterans pick up the win and have MSK chasing the titles. But my pick is MSK. I want to see MSK with the NXT Tag Team Championships. Then we have a 6-man gauntlet eliminator match to determine the number 1 contender for the North American Championship, and that championship match will happen on night 2. Now, this 6-man gauntlet match is a result of the Battle Royal that took place last week on NXT. And these were the final 6 men in the Battle Royal, and their order of elimination in the Battle Royal determines their order of entry in the gauntlet match. Hopefully everybody followed all that. So the first 2 in the gauntlet match will be Leon Ruff and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Then number 3 is Bronson Reed. Number 4 is Cameron Grimes. Number 5 is Dexter Lumis. And number 6 is LA Knight. Hard to pick in this one, but I got to go with either Dexter Lumis or possibly LA Knight. But I mean, given that Johnny Gargano currently is the North American champion, I'm going to go with Dexter Lumis on this. So I think Lumis is going to be the one to get the championship match on night 2. And then we've got what I'm calling right now is probably going to be the match of the night. This is just going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. Walter defending the NXT UK Championship against Tommaso Ciampa. I cannot wait to see this match. I mean, there's a pretty big size disparity between these two guys. Walter is a very big guy. Ciampa, definitely at a disadvantage there. But as far as talent and in-ring ability and just sheer toughness and brutality, this is going to be a hell of a match. But I got to go with Walter retaining just because it is the UK Championship. You know he's going to be going back to the UK at some point, unless they're going to keep Imperium in NXT in the US for a while. Then, you know, we could possibly see Ciampa maybe winning that championship. But I'm saying Walter is probably going to retain. And then another match that could potentially steal the show is Pete Dunne taking on Kushida. Another one I'm very much looking forward to. Pete Dunne the last few weeks has been saying, you know, he's the greatest technical wrestler in NXT, and he's challenging somebody to prove him wrong, and Kushida has stepped up to the plate on this one. So this one, I think, is just going to be a technical masterpiece. This match is going to be a thing of beauty, and I cannot wait to see it. But I got to go with Pete Dunne on this one over Kushida. So just to recap, NXT Stand and Deliver Night 1, we got Raquel Gonzalez winning the Women's Championship, MSK taking the Tag Team Championship, Dexter Lumis winning the number 1 contender gauntlet match, Walter retaining the UK Championship, and Pete Dunne defeating Kushida. Then we move on to night 2 of Stand and Deliver, and that's on Thursday, April the 8th. And this one, yeah, looking to be equally as good as night 1. We've got Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart defending the Women's Tag Team Championships against The Way, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. I'm going to go with Ember and Shotzi to retain in this one. I think it's going to be a damn good match, though, with these 4 women, but I'm definitely going with Ember and Shotzi to retain. Then we have a unification ladder match for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Jordan Devlin, the NXT Cruiserweight Champion from the UK, who was the original champion, just happened to get stuck in the UK when the pandemic hit and wasn't able to travel back to the US to defend the title, taking on Santos Escobar, who technically is the interim Cruiserweight Champion, won the Cruiserweight Championship tournament that was held, like I said, when Devlin was not able to travel back to the U.S. And, you know, it was made official this past week. Shawn Michaels came out, didn't really say a word when these two were in the ring staring each other down. Shawn Michaels just came out, pulled the ladder out from under the ring, slid it into the ring, and said, there you go. So we've got a ladder match to unify the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Yeah, I want to pick Jordan Devlin in this one. I like Jordan Devlin. I mean, you know, he's Irish. Hey, come on. But, you know, I think Escobar might be the one to pull this out. So I think my official pick, I think I'm going to go with Santos Escobar. I think they're going to keep the championship here in the U.S., and I'm sure Devlin is going to be going back to NXT UK probably shortly after TakeOver, I would assume, unless, like I said about Imperium, unless they're going to keep him here in the US for an extended period of time. You know, then he could potentially be the one to unify the titles. But as of right now, my pick is Santos Escobar. Then we've got Johnny Gargano defending against the winner of the gauntlet match from night 1. Like I said, my pick is Dexter Lumis for that gauntlet match. So I'm looking at Johnny Gargano versus Dexter Lumis for the North American Championship. And I got to go with Lumis to win the title on this one. So obviously contingent on him winning the gauntlet match the first night, but I got Dexter Lumis pulling out the win over Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship. And I think Dexter Lumis would make for an interesting champion because the man has not said a single word since he's been in NXT, and that's just part of his character. He's just a very quiet, stoic, brooding, you know, kind of crazy, not even kind of crazy, just a lunatic. But yeah, I'm going with Dexter Lumis as the new North American champion. Then we've got a match that has been built up so much it's not even funny, and I have no doubt that it's going to deliver on all the hype. Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly in an unsanctioned match. And this is stemming from obviously the split of the Undisputed Era a few weeks ago. And yeah, these two, as far as in-ring goes, two of the best in NXT. And this is just going to be a fight. I mean, it's an unsanctioned match. These guys are, you know, they know each other so well. They've known each other for so long. And they've got great chemistry as partners and, you know, equally great chemistry as opponents. So, you know, these guys are going to beat the hell out of each other, and I can't wait to see it. As far as a winner in this one, I want Kyle O'Reilly to win, but I think my official pick, I'm going to go with Adam Cole to win this match. He's going to pull it out one way or another. I think the unsanctioned nature of the match plays to his favor, with him being the heel and, using less than honorable tactics, shall we say. So I'm going with Adam Cole to win the unsanctioned match. Then the main event of night 2 for the NXT Championship, Finn Balor defending against Karrion Kross. I can't wait to see this match. Two of my all-time favorite current wrestlers anywhere in any company. And again, kind of like the Walter and Ciampa match from night 1, bit of a size disparity in this one. Karrion Kross much bigger than Finn Balor, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a factor, just because both of these guys are talented as hell. And again, I think we're gonna see, this is gonna be a match similar and on the same level as when Balor fought Kyle O'Reilly. I think we're probably going to see some legit injuries in this one. I mean, Balor and O'Reilly beat the shit out of each other. Balor ended up with a broken jaw and was out for however many weeks, so I'm looking for this match to be kind of along the same lines. These guys are beating the living shit out of each other, and I gotta, my gut's telling me Karrion Kross is going to get the NXT Championship back, but there's also been talk the last month or 2 months about Kross being fast-tracked to Raw or Smackdown. So, I mean, it wouldn't shock me either to see Karrion Kross and Scarlett on either Raw or SmackDown right after WrestleMania, making their debut. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to pick this one, but I'm going to say Karrion Kross is going to get the NXT Championship back and have at least one more match with Finn Balor. So that's what I'm hoping for anyway. All right, and then also taking place on Thursday, NXT UK Prelude. Not necessarily a takeover, it's just a regular, 1 hour TV, but it's part of WrestleMania week, so it's more like a special event. And we've got Walter pulling double duty this week, defending the UK title at Stand and Deliver against Ciampa, and then if he retains it there, he's defending it at NXT UK Prelude against Rampage Brown. And these two guys had a face-to-face last week on NXT UK that was just fantastic. And these two just big bulls are going to go in there and light each other up. And I can't wait to see this one. If you're not somebody who watches NXT UK on a regular basis, check this episode out. Pay attention to the in-ring, because NXT UK, some of the best wrestling in WWE. That's what I always say. Between NXT UK and 205 Live, the best actual in-ring wrestling products in WWE, in my opinion. Then we've got a number 1 contenders match for the UK Heritage Cup. Noam Dar taking on Tyler Bate. I'm looking for this match to steal the show on Prelude, but I'm looking for Tyler Bate to win this one and get a shot at A-Kid in the Heritage Cup. And then we've got an interesting women's tag team match. The UK Women's Champion Kaylee Ray teaming up with Isla Dawn, taking on Millie McKenzie and Meiko Satomura. Millie McKenzie just came back to NXT UK for the first time in 2 years this past week. So I don't think they're gonna put a loss on her right out of the gate like that. And Meiko Satomura has been just dominating in NXT UK in the women's division. So I'm looking for McKenzie and Satomura to get the win in this one. Then on Friday, what they're calling WrestleMania Smackdown, we've got a couple of matches that honestly should be on WrestleMania taking place on Smackdown this Friday. One of those being the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. There's 22 men listed so far. I don't know if they'll add any more. 22 just seems kind of like a random number. But, we've got Akira Tozawa, Angel Garza, Cedric Alexander, Drew Gulak, Elias, Eric from the Viking Raiders, Grand Metalik, Humberto Carrillo, Jackson Riker, Jey Uso, Kalisto, King Corbin, Lindsay Dorado, Mace, Murphy, Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, Shelton Benjamin, Shinsuke Nakamura, Slapjack, T-Bar, and Tucker. When's the last time we saw Tucker on TV? But, It is what it is. I mean, the Andre Battle Royal typically is part of WrestleMania. I don't know why they wouldn't put it on the kickoff show one night or the other. And haven't heard anything about the Women's Battle Royal this year, which seems kind of odd as well. I mean, it's only Monday right now, so it still could be added. WWE's notorious for adding last minute stuff to pay-per-views, which I'm not a big fan of. I used to love the build to WrestleMania for the big matches, back in the day. They would build towards WrestleMania for months, but also that's when they only had, 2 to 4 pay-per-views a year, depending on what year it was. So I get it with the number of pay-per-views that you have. You can't have a 2-3 month build to WrestleMania because after the Rumble you got another pay-per-view in 3 weeks, and you got another pay-per-view the following month, and then you got WrestleMania. So it just makes it harder to have a long build to a match. But for this one, for the Andre Battle Royal, with the participants that have been announced so far, I'm going with Shinsuke Nakamura. He's been getting a little bit of a push lately, and I would like to see him. For me personally, I would love to see Nakamura pushed back into the title picture. So I think hopefully that's who I'm going for in the Andre Battle Royal, is Shinsuke Nakamura. And then we've got a fatal 4-way for the Smackdown tag team titles. Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode defending against the Street Profits. Alpha Academy, which is Otis and Chad Gable, and Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Again, SmackDown Tag Team Championship, you'd figure the title match would be on WrestleMania, but they're doing it on SmackDown on Friday. I'm going with Rey and Dominic. They've been making mention a lot of, they'd be the first ever father-son tag team champions, and Rey has mentioned I want to hold the tag titles with my son before my career is over. So I think this is probably the time that we're going to see it. So I am picking Rey and Dominic Mysterio to come away with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships this Friday. All right, so before we get into the main show, the big event coming up on Saturday and Sunday, and of course I'm talking about WrestleMania, I'm going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he is here with a very special Indie Mania edition of the Indie Cut.
Hey there, Mania friends. I'm Charlie G with your Indie Week Mania report. Tom asked me to do a Mania preview show for the independent scene. Little did he know, there are 36 shows in total, 35 in Florida and 1 here in Chicago. So let's get to it. I'm not going to go through all the cards because I don't know all of them, so I will just try to highlight what I believe are the best matches of each show, if they even have matches announced for the show. So we start early, Tuesday, April 6th. Pro Wrestling 2.0 Super Show Legend and Heroes. I don't know that. To Wednesday, April 7th. No Peace Underground. Fatalism. Let's see. The one called Manders versus Perro is on this show. Eric Ryan versus Nolan Edward for the No Peace Underground Championship. I believe that one would be on IWTV. So yeah, most of these shows are on IWTV or Independent Wrestling.tv or the Fight app for GCW fans. So, or check out YouTube. You just never know. Of course, that night's NXT TakeOver 1. Thursday, April 8th. This is when it gets pretty much starts up. IWTV Family Union Part 1 at noon. All these times will be on Eastern Time. So, if, champion for the Independent Wrestling Championship, champion Lee Moriarty takes on Io Sorel. Wheeler Yuta takes on Adam Priest. Wow. Yeah, I'll be able to read these. Jamie Lloyd's D-Generation F, also around noon on the Fight Network, or the Collective Bundle, as you might see on the scroll here. Jimmy Lloyd takes on Starboy Charlie. Mayan Reed takes on Dante Leon. Juicy Finale versus the one called Manders. Sky Blue versus Billy Stark versus Roxy. If you are looking for up-and-coming women's talent, that will be the match to watch, because I'm a fan of Sky's, fan of Billy's after last year's collective, and Roxy. I've seen a couple matches, and she is very talented as well. So can't wait to see this match. Hopefully. IWTV Fan Union Part 2, around 3 p.m. For the New South Heavyweight Championship, Cabana Man Dan takes on champion Derek Neal. Gary J takes on Billy Starks. Trey Lamar is also in a match in a Downey's Irish drinking team and a very good professional wrestlers team. Yeah, so the Acid Cup Day 1 takes place on Fight Network around 4 p.m. Laredo Kid takes on Braden Lee. That should be interesting. Tony Deppen versus Cole Radrick. Excuse me. Ken Broadway versus Calvin Tankman. Reeves versus Aramis. If you are a luchador fan, that is a match for you. Lee Moriarty takes on Trios Lee. Jordan Oliver takes on Edith Sorrell. So yeah, you will hear a lot of names that I usually say, and a lot of them will be repeated during this preview. Crab Pro Wrestling, We Wrestle with Mania at 6 p.m. Gino Medina takes on Rhett Titus in a Pure Rules match. So that's pretty cool. Jaden Newman takes on Roxy for the Crab United States Championship. So that should be interesting. Flophouse Wrestling, Boozapalooza at 6 p.m. The Flophouse champion Hoodfoot takes on Shug D. Apollo Star takes on Lee Moriarty. Okay. ICW No Holds Barred Volume 11, Then and Now at 8 p.m. Dan Moff takes on Calvin Tankman. Tony Deppen takes on Daniel Garcia, just to name a few. Then the highlight show, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport number 6 on the Fight Network at 8 p.m. Leo Rush takes on Yoya. Rocky Romero takes on Chavo Guerrero Jr. That should be fun. Chris Dickinson versus Shea Mercer. And the main event, probably Josh Barnett finally against John Moxley. So they finally get to go at it. No Peace Underground, Murder Mania at 11:59 p.m. So just before midnight. Tony Deppen takes on Jake Something. Ace Austin takes on Jamie Senegal. Then there's also Forticulture at 11:59 p.m. on the Fight Network. Rick Swan versus Two Cold Scorpio. That should be pretty fun. Lee Moriarty versus Leo Rush. That should be awesome. AJ Gray versus JTG. That should be good as well. Trey Lamar versus Eli Knight. Yeah, you really can't go here. Oh, Myron Reed versus Ken Broadway versus Calvin Tankman versus Andy Brown. Yeah, that show is stacked. Then on to Friday, April 9th. Action Wrestling and Southern Underground's Pro Have Fun, Be Sad at noon. Osha Edwards versus John Davis. AJ Gray versus JD Drake. So that's pretty cool. Kevin Koo and Dominic Carini versus David Finley and Juice Robinson. Yeah, so Finjuice is back here in the States for Mania weekend. Who knew, right? Alley Cat's Real Hot Girl Shit show take place at noon on the Fight Network. Alley Cat versus Billy Starks. Tasha Steeles versus Trish Adora. Allison Cave, maybe against Faye Jackson. We'll see what happens after that injury. JTG, Ricky Champagnes are also on the show. Acid Cup Day 2 at 4 p.m. on the Fight Network. Then to Freelance and Freelance Underground, Chicago Secret Stash at 4 p.m. on IWTV. From an undisclosed location in or around Chicago. Even I don't know where they're at. I wish I did. I'd like to go take a look at this. Laney Luck versus GPA. Jordan Oliver versus Austin Matthews. Sorry about that. Effie versus Trevor Outlaw. Just to name a few. So, I almost want to say it's taped since Jordan and Effie will be in Florida. But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully you'll find out as well. Guavamania 01 USA at 5 p.m. ICW No Holds Barred Pit Fighter 10 Battle of the Tough Guys Part 1 at 8 p.m. Dominic Rini versus Kevin Koo. So tag team partners go against each other. It happens a lot during this weekend. Nolan Edwards versus JD Drake. Those should be interesting matches. Then we have RSP Spring Break number 5. So yeah, RSP retitled the show from Janela. So it's Gringo Loco, Black Taurus, and Arez versus Laredo Kid, Dragonbane, and Aramis. Wow. Leo Rush versus Jordan Oliver, Joey Janela versus Chris Dickinson, and Ricky Shane Page versus Nick Gage. Finally, right? Then GCW is also running a bunch of shows, kind of like their 24-hour marathon, but it's half-day marathon. So they run with this town is the name of the segment. 10 a.m. Best in the Class with the Young Professor. So Leo Rush versus Casey Navarro. 12 p.m. Pile Driver Pro. Once Upon a Time We Blew the Budget. Yeah, I don't know about some of those matches there. 2 p.m. New Texas Pro Wrestling. Texas When I Die. Highlight match for me. Deanna Purrazzo, who is the New Texas Pro Champion, or the Impact. Okay, she's Deanna Purrazzo versus Roxy, and some championships on line. Either the Impact Women's Championship or the New Texas Pro Championship. So I should have looked up that better, but their titles on the line. So check that show out. Gina Medina's also in action. AJ Gray's in action. Myrie's in action a couple times, it looks like. So that should be an interesting show. That's probably on the Fight Network. Yeah, if GCW's named, it's on Fight, probably. Or YouTube, hopefully. Excuse me. 4 p.m. DFW All Pro versus The World. A bunch of names there. Mecha Wolf, JTG, Mercedes Chanel, Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is actually on. Wow, Low Key. Yeah, that should be an interesting show. And then 8 p.m. GCW We Run This Town. Genocide versus Willow Nightingale. The Culture versus the Stone and Stone. Okay. And Queen Amanita versus Mercedes Chanel. 11:59 p.m. Ladies Night Out. Midnight in Tampa. Sky Blue versus Kiera Hogan. That should be interesting. Allie Kate's on the show. Jordan Grace, Sue Young, Heather Monroe, Allie Kat, of course. Howard Dead. So yeah, check that show out. It's kind of late, but that should be an interesting one. And yes, Sky Blue, I did see you. NWA, congratulations. Nice debut there. Guava Mania Zawa Live at 7 p.m. Guava Mania and 01 and Zawa Live put on a combined show at 9 p.m. Misa Kate versus JJ Garrett. ICW No Holds Barred Pit Fighter 10 Battle of the Tough Guys Part 2 also at 11:59 p.m. There are 3 shows, 11:59 p.m. And then next is Violence and Suffering, Lucid Dream, also 11:59 p.m. Leo Rush versus Low Key. Wow. Dr. Q versus JTG. Jordan Olive versus Jimmy Lloyd. 2 Cold Scorpio versus Eli Everfly. Brian Cage versus Chris Dickinson. Awesome match. They gotta be at midnight though. Give me a break. Or at least 11 p.m. my time, right? On to Saturday, April 10th, Effie's Big Gay Brunch at 11 a.m., which is 10 a.m. on the Fight Network. MV Young versus JD Drake. AJ Gray versus Billy Dixon. Effie versus AC Perry. Oh, man. Tony Deppin's Beer House at noon. JD Drake versus Jordan Oliver. Ace Austin versus Braden Lee. Yeah. Simon Grimm versus Braden Kirk. Brandon Kirk. Sorry about that. Planet Death, Alex Colon produced show on the Fight Network at 3 p.m. So there's a bunch of hardcore matches there. Beyond Wrestling Time Capsule at 4 p.m. Facade takes on Dave Cole. Dan Barry versus Eric Corvas, of all people. All right. Show 34, almost there, folks. Unsanctioned Pro Fueled by Spite at 7 p.m. on the Fight Network. Cole Radrick takes on Jake Something. Oh, Cole, what are you doing there? Casanova Valentine takes on Hoodfoot. Myron Reed versus Trey Lamar. That should be a great match there. Show 35, ICW No Holds Barred, Volume 12. Farewell to the Pawn Shop. John Wayne Murdoch versus Eric Ryan. Shane Mercer versus Slack. Dan Moff once again versus Nolan Edward. And then finally, of the shows, 36, No Peace Underground, Shallow Graves at 11:59 on the Fight Network. Sue Young versus G Raver. Who knows what that match is going to bring. Mance Warner versus Connor Claxton. And Alex Clone versus Masada. Oh, that's going to be... Oh, man. I can't watch that late at night. But, yeah. That is all 36 shows. I'm sure there's maybe a few more I did not mention since I did not get to see an update. Or who knows what they're going to add. You never know. So that's a wrap for me for Mania Weekend, Indie Mania Week. Hope you enjoy the shows. I will try my best to recap it next week and watch as many as I can in between all the hockey and wrestling I have been enjoying lately. So, enjoy Mania Week. However you watch it, indie, pro, just enjoy the week, folks. Back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you as always, Charlie, for breaking down all the indie action that's going on. And yes, when I first asked Charlie to do this, I had no clue there were 36 independent events going on this week. Around WrestleMania. So I gotta thank Charlie for all of the work that he does, keeping up with all the independents out there. So let's get into what we are all here for tonight. WrestleMania coming up on Saturday the 10th and Sunday the 11th of April. So let's jump into night one first. The Saturday edition of WrestleMania. Cesaro taking on Seth Rollins. Now they've been building this one basically since Rollins came back, and with his new Embrace the Vision thing, and Cesaro being the last member of the locker room to walk out on Seth's little return speech that he was making, and stuff like that. And then Cesaro hitting Rollins with the giant swing for 22 revolutions in the ring. So I mean, put the storyline aside, this is just going to be a damn good match. These two guys know each other very well. Both came up in Ring of Honor, and I'm looking forward to this one as well. This is going to be a sleeper match. I'm telling you that right now, because this has the potential to steal the show. And it's very hard to pick a winner in this one, but I got to go with Cesaro. I think, kind of like I said about Nakamura, he's been getting that little bump lately. So I think Cesaro, I think it's his time to start moving up the ranks a little bit. Then we've got Braun Strowman taking on Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. We will definitely see Shane come off the top of the cage, no doubt about that. Not a whole lot to this storyline. It's basically just been Shane calling Braun Strowman stupid, and Braun saying I'm not stupid, and getting mad and breaking stuff, and that's pretty much the storyline with Braun and Shane. But I think it's going to be a good match. Shane, I think, is one of the more, I don't want to say underrated, because I don't think he's underrated. I think people recognize that he is a damn good in-ring performer. But I think he kind of flies under the radar a little bit, and it's gotten to where a lot of people, whenever Shane comes back, they roll their eyes and all that. But you can't deny what the guy can do in the ring. He does some amazing stuff in the ring. And like I said, he's going to come off the top of the cage in this match. It's just a matter, will he be jumping into the ring or out of the ring? So... But Strowman could end up going through the cage. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good match. I think Shane is going to pull a great match out of Braun Strowman, and I'm going to go with Braun to get the victory in this one. Then for the Raw Tag Team Championships, we got the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods defending against AJ Styles and Omos. Yeah, I got to go with New Day to retain. This match kind of came out of nowhere. New Day won the titles from the Hurt Business and were immediately challenged by AJ and Omos, and it just hasn't made a whole lot of logical sense to me. But I got to go with the New Day to retain the titles. I think we're going to see AJ and Omos splitting up sometime soon. Just based on the stuff that we've seen, the last couple of weeks with AJ and Omos trying, or more so AJ trying to, prove how good of a team they are and how well they know each other and things like that, and failing miserably. So I think the split is coming there, and they're going to set Omos off on his own. So I'm looking for the New Day to retain here. Then also on night one, Bad Bunny with Damian Priest in his corner taking on The Miz with John Morrison in his corner. I mean, 99% of the time in these matches, the celebrity is the one who gets the victory, so I think Bad Bunny is a safe bet on this one. According to, I think it was Triple H, I was reading an interview with, Bad Bunny has, not been taking this lightly. He's been in the Performance Center every day training and, learning the craft and stuff like that. So, I mean, I got to respect that. He's taking it seriously. It's not just a joke, and he wants to go out there and put on a good show. So more power to him. I hope it's a great match. I hope it surprises the hell out of everybody and ends up being a fantastic match, because the Miz, as much hate as he gets, as much as people do not like the Miz, he's another one. You can't take away what he's done in the business and his ability in the ring. So I think this has the potential to be a decent match, especially if Bad Bunny is working as hard as people are saying he is. But I'm thinking Bad Bunny is going to be the winner on this one. Then for the WWE Championship, Bobby Lashley with MVP defending against Drew McIntyre. This is hard to call. It's like conventional logic would say that McIntyre's going to win and he's going to finally get that WrestleMania moment that he didn't really get last year because there was no crowd there. So there's going to be at least somewhat of a crowd at this year's WrestleMania. So conventional logic says that McIntyre's going to get it back. He's going to have that moment with the fans screaming and stuff like that. But then again, I could see Bobby Lashley retaining the title, especially because this is on night one, and I don't think it's going to be the main event. I don't think this is going to be the last match of the night, so this isn't going to be the one where they're going to be worried about sending the fans home happy. So I think Bobby Lashley may actually retain the championship against McIntyre and continue this rivalry a little bit more, get some more mileage out of it. So I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Bobby Lashley's going to retain. And then what I think is going to be the main event, the final match of the night for night one, Sasha Banks defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against the Royal Rumble winner, Bianca Belair. I got to go with Bianca on this one. I think it's her time. I think it's time to put a title on her and see what she can do. Let her be the face of the women's division. I mean, the last few years, it's been Bayley and Sasha and Charlotte and Becky. It's been the four horsewomen. That has been, at least one of them has been the face of the women's division for, I'm going to say, at least the last 5 years, with the exception of when Ronda Rousey was there for a year. So, I'm going to go with Bianca Belair on this one to take the SmackDown Women's Championship. So just to recap, I got Bianca Belair winning the SmackDown Women's title, Bobby Lashley retaining the WWE Championship, Bad Bunny defeating The Miz, The New Day retaining against AJ Styles and Omos, Braun Strowman defeating Shane McMahon, and Cesaro defeating Seth Rollins. Let's move on to night two here, the final night of the this insane week of professional wrestling, WrestleMania Night 2 on Sunday, April the 11th. and we've got Riddle defending the United States Championship against Sheamus. I got Sheamus in this one. By all accounts, originally Riddle was not supposed to be the one to win the U.S. Championship in that triple threat match with Bobby Lashley. The third man in that match was John Morrison, but it was supposed to be Keith Lee, and by all accounts, he was the one that was supposed to win the championship. Was Keith Lee. Now, whenever Keith Lee does return, he's already got a built-in rivalry with Sheamus. They've gone back and forth and round, for a while. So I think you put the title on Sheamus and have continue that rivalry with Keith Lee when he's able to come back. So I'm picking Sheamus to win the United States Championship. Then we've got Kevin Owens taking on Sami Zayn with Logan Paul, of all people. And I said this on the regular episode of the podcast this week. I get, from a business standpoint, I understand bringing in Logan Paul. He's a huge name. He has a huge following in the millions. It's ridiculous. So it gets a lot of eyes on WrestleMania. It gets a lot of eyes on the WWE. I'm just not a fan of Logan Paul. Simple as that. But, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Do I see Logan Paul getting involved in the match in any way? I hope not. But I'm going to go with Kevin Owens to get the win in this one so Sami Zayn can continue his whole conspiracy theory thing that he's had going on the last few months. Then we've got Big E defending the Intercontinental Championship against Apollo Crews in what's being called a Nigerian drum fight. I don't know what that is. Apollo Crews talked about it on Smackdown last week, and so I'm curious to see what it's all about. Any match between Big E and Apollo Crews up to this point has been very good, so it's just a gimmick that they're throwing into the match to align with Apollo Crews' new character of the Nigerian Prince. So but I'm going with Apollo Crews in this one. I think it's time to put a belt on him and see what he can do. So I got Apollo Crews defeating Big E for the Intercontinental Championship. Then we've got Asuka defending the Raw Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley. Along the same lines as what I said about Bianca Belair. I think it's Rhea Ripley's time. I think it's time to hand it off to a couple of fresh faces for the women's division, because you have had the same handful of people over the last 5 years or so as the top of the women's division. So give these two a chance. Give Bianca a chance. Give Rhea a chance. Let them have those championships and run with them, because I'm thinking they're both going to excel as champions on Raw and SmackDown. So I'm going with Rhea Ripley to defeat Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Then we've got The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, with Alexa Bliss taking on Randy Orton. Now, there has been no mention of any type of gimmick or anything with this match. It's just billed as a straight singles match between The Fiend and Randy Orton. There's going to be a live crowd there, so they're not going to be able to do some of the magic tricks, quote-unquote, that they've done in the past with this rivalry. So, this, by all accounts, is going to be a straight-up match. Now, I'm sure we're going to see some chicanery, some sleight of hand type of stuff, maybe some backstage stuff that they, pre-recorded and can, so that you do see some of the quote-unquote magic that we've seen over the last few months with this rivalry. But, The Fiend needs to win this match. I am so sick of seeing The Fiend get involved in these great rivalries, and when it comes to the payoff, Bray Wyatt loses. I'm tired of it. The fans are tired of it. The fans have gotten to the point where it's like, they've come to expect it. They don't think The Fiend is ever going to go over in the blow-off to any of his big rivalries, and it's terrible, because people want to love Bray Wyatt. And it's like WWE doesn't want us to. It's like they blow the payoff every time, and so I'm hoping this is where that changes and Bray Wyatt ends up pulling out the victory with Randy Orton. So that is my pick, is Bray Wyatt over Randy Orton. Now, there is always the possibility that we see Alexa Bliss turn on The Fiend somehow and help Randy Orton get the victory. I don't know how they would spin that or explain it. But I mentioned on the regular episode of the podcast this week as well, about an interesting take on this that I saw from a fan online. saying that, it seems like the roles have reversed with Alexa Bliss and the Fiend. Where at first it was like the Fiend kind of brainwashed Alexa Bliss and things like that, and he was the one in control and he was the one pulling the strings. And now it seems, since the Fiend has been burnt up and everything like that, Alexa is the one that's in control because she's got her little Fiend in a box, and the Fiend only appears when she opens the box and stuff like that. So could she, be manipulating the Fiend in some way and end up turning on him and allowing Randy Orton to win the match? I mean, that's always a possibility. We're talking about the WWE, and like they always say, anything can happen. But barring that, I'm hoping that doesn't happen, at least not yet. I love the pairing of the Fiend and Alexa Bliss. I've said a million times, I love Alexa Bliss's character currently, and I think she's doing a spectacular job with this new character and new role that she's been given. So yeah, my pick in this one is Bray Wyatt. Bottom line. And then main event of night 2, a triple threat match for the WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. Now, of course, Edge earned his spot in this match by winning the Royal Rumble this year, and Daniel Bryan kind of wedged his way into the match after Elimination Chamber. He won the Elimination Chamber match, then had the immediate title match, which was pretty much of a joke, just got decimated by Roman Reigns, and ended up earning a rematch with Roman Reigns with Edge as the special ref, and Edge kind of blew that one by attacking both guys with a chair. So, basically the idea is Daniel Bryan has not gotten a fair shot at the Universal Championship, so he lobbied his way into this match. So this one is hard to call, since this is going to be, in my opinion, the main event, the final match of night 2 of WrestleMania. This is the one where they want to send the people home happy. This is the one where they want that big pop and the fireworks and, all that kind of stuff. So for me, what I want to see, I want Edge to win this match. Edge, one of my all-time favorites, and, just completely blew my mind when he came back, and even more so now this year that he won the Royal Rumble and earned the title match. I want to see Edge, come full circle and get this championship, because he never lost the title that he was holding when he retired. So that's my pick for this one, is Edge. So just to run it back down, I got Edge winning the Universal Championship, Bray Wyatt defeating Randy Orton, Rhea Ripley winning the Raw Women's Championship, Apollo Crews winning the Intercontinental Championship, Kevin Owens defeating Sami Zayn, and Sheamus winning the U.S. Championship. So night 2, I've got every title being defended on night 2 changing hands. So yeah, those are my picks for WrestleMania, and that pretty much completes all of the WWE action that's going to be going on this week. And then I'm assuming it's after WrestleMania, we've got the announcement was made last Friday. Just a huge blockbuster announcement. Chris Jericho appearing on the Broken Skull Sessions with Steve Austin on Sunday the 11th. So I would assume that's premiering immediately after WrestleMania. Would make sense that would be when they do it. So yeah, I am fairly certain that is going to be the most watched episode of Broken Skull Sessions to date. So, because I know I'll be watching it. So, can't wait to see that and hear what they talk about. According to Austin, they talk about everything. AEW is going to come up, and possibly Jericho, leaving WWE for AEW. Who knows? Who knows what these guys are going to talk about? But I cannot wait to see this. So that pretty much wraps up our preview of WrestleMania week, what I've been calling the busiest week in pro wrestling, because it always is. Again, I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, or wherever you get your podcast from. Head to the website, catchhookshoot.com. You can listen to the podcast there. You can watch all the YouTube videos, see all the interviews that we've done, the photo gallery, the shop, all that kind of good stuff. Make sure you're following on social media at catchhookshoot on all platforms. Patreon.com/catchhookshoot for bonus content. The April content is posted, so head over there and check that out. We've got some pretty cool stuff over there. Yeah, follow twitch.tv/catchhookshoot and keep an eye out for when we do one of our watch parties. Either some wrestling themed movie or an old wrestling video, there's a ton of wrestling stuff on Amazon Prime. That's where the watch party stuff comes from. So, it'll be something from there. So, you typically do those when I do them are on a Saturday around 7 p.m. Central Time. So, like I said, give us a follow on twitch.tv/catchhookshoot and keep an eye out for our next watch party. Head to prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot and grab yourself a shirt. And you can find links to all that and a whole lot more at linktree/catchhookshoot, or scan this little QR code right here in the corner if you're watching on YouTube. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So that's going to wrap up this special bonus episode previewing WrestleMania week. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Thank you again to Charlie G for all the work he puts in, especially this week with all these indie shows coming up. I hope everybody has a great week. Hope everybody enjoys the hell out of WrestleMania or whatever wrestling you're watching this week, because there is a lot of it. So, sit back, relax, enjoy some wrestling. This is a wrestling fan's Christmas, okay? And make sure this Friday, we've got another special episode dropping on Friday the 9th, a special WrestleMania panel show talking about just all about WrestleMania, the history of it. We do some fantasy booking, lots of fun stuff. We've got 4 guests coming on the show. Had a lot of fun filming it. I think you guys will have a lot of fun watching it or listening to it, so make sure you check that out. Again, it'll be on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. In my opinion, though, the best way to take this one in is on YouTube. I think the video, is a much better medium for this particular show coming up on Friday, but it will be on all the podcast platforms as well. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Hope everybody has a fantastic WrestleMania week, and I will talk to you guys soon.